Mr. Governor and accredited speaker, Mr. Wayne Choate.
Man, thank you very much for that scintillating introduction. I just wonder, could I have your attention here today? Could I?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I really would like to have your attention. Because in just a few minutes that you and I spend together here today, I plan to extend an invitation to each one of you to enhance your chance in life. And the reason why I'm going to extend the invitation, and the reason why I think it's so vitally important that you stay with me just for a few minutes, is because I am just like all of you. I have witnessed on a number of occasions individuals with an abundance of talent. Individuals who apply that good, strong, solid work ethic. Individuals who take time out of their busy schedules to get those advanced degrees and why even join organizations like Toastmasters. And they do these things in an effort to develop those skills so they can climb the corporate ladder, change the decimal point in their paycheck, cut themselves a larger slice of life, and enjoy the greater rewards. But even though these individuals apply these techniques, I've noticed something seems to prevent so many people from enjoying all that they want in life. And I happen to believe and believe strongly that the real reason why so many are unable to achieve all they want in life is because they've never really been properly introduced or explained on how you should enhance your chance in life. So I'll promise you this, if you'll stay with me, if you'll stay inside this room mentally, if you stay on channel 1, I guess what I'm saying to you, George, if you don't reach for a remote control and change channels on me, my solemn promise is you're going to walk from this room with a better understanding. Maybe a reminder of what it truly takes to get ahead in this life, to cut yourself a larger slice of life, climb the corporate ladder, and to change the decimal point in your paycheck. So that's what we want to be talking about here today. That's why we're talking about it, and that's my solemn promise to you. Now, in order for me to jump into the deep end of my message, I think the best way is to ask you a question. How many of you recognize the name Whitney Houston? Anybody here? Oh, wow, do you know Whitney? Whitney Houston, who was she?
A great singer.
A great singer. I guess there was a time that she was the most popular singer in our nation. There was a time that you couldn't hardly pick up a cassette tape, a CD, or turn on MTV, or go to the movies without hearing and or seeing Whitney Houston. Now, I mentioned Whitney here today only because I was listening to my radio not too long ago. And one of Whitney's songs was on there. And this was a gorgeous song, beautiful song. And in this particular song, there was an incredible lyric. I'm starting to see some fear build up in all your eyes. And I want all of you to relax. We're going to have a good time here today. We're going to have fun. I'm not going to sing. And I'm not going to sing because I can't, but I can recite. And Whitney's lyric went like this. Now, don't miss this. This is important. Whitney said, "It's funny how life just falls into place somehow. It's funny how life just falls into place somehow." And as I listened to Whitney sing that beautiful song, and when I heard that incredible lyric, I thought, is that really true? Does our life just fall into place somehow? Mm-mm. Or is there something we could do that would direct the outcome of our lives? Is there something that we could do that would enhance our chance in life? Well, Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, I intend to make the point here today. I intend to make the point that yes, there is something we can do that will direct the outcome of our lives. There is something we can do that would enhance our chance in life. Is somebody coming?
No.
Somebody went by it.
There is something we can do that would enhance our chance. As a matter of fact, I happen to know what prevents you from becoming a better leader, a better manager, a better speaker, a better lover, a better teacher, a better parent, a better salesperson, a better secretary. I know what prevents each one of you in this room from maximizing your human effectiveness and enhancing your chance in life. Would you like to know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you. It's the way that you talk to yourself. The way that you talk to yourself. Now, just out of curiosity, how many of you actually do talk to yourself? Can I see your hand? All right. A lot of you raised your hands. I appreciate that, but I noticed there were some of you who didn't raise your hand. And I know what you're thinking. Those of you who did not raise your hand, you're sitting there thinking, no, I don't believe I talk to myself. Oh, yes, you do, Michael. You do, I do, we all do. We talk to ourselves every waking minute of every waking hour, and it's the way that we talk to ourselves that will direct the outcome of our lives. And you and I have a chance, starting right here today, to enhance our chance in this life if we'll just change the way that we talk to ourselves. And you know how we should be talking to ourselves? Why, we should be getting up each morning, putting our feet on the floor, running to the window, looking outside and saying, "Good morning, God." But you know how most people talk to themselves? They drag themselves out of bed. They drag themselves to the window. They glance outside and they say, "Oh, good God, it's morning." We need to change the way that we talk to ourselves. I had a similar experience with my son, Wayne Jr. I'll never forget it. Wayne Jr. came to me one morning. This is back when he played baseball in high school. He came to me and he said, Dad, we have one of our most important games today, and I sure hope you don't come to see me play because I'm just going to mess up." I omitted the actual language. But what my foul-mouthed teenage son meant was, he was going to mess up. Now, would any of you venture a guess as to what happened to Wayne Jr. that day in that game?
He messed up.
Can't you see it's the way that we talk to ourselves that will direct the outcome of our lives? And you and I have a chance to enhance our chance in this life if we would but just change the way that we talk to ourselves. You know, maybe we should talk to ourselves the way that Dave Yoho does. Dave Yoho. I am not making that name up. Dave Yoho was a keynote speaker in one of our Toastmasters International Convention a few years ago. Dynamite speaker, great speaker, big demand all over the nation as a keynote speaker. As a matter of fact, I talked to Dave after he gave that keynote. I said, "Dave Yoho." I said, "Dave, did you make up that name?" He said, "Think about it." He said if I was going to make up a name, it wouldn't be Yoho. Well, Dave Yoho, this huge, successful speaker, he told that listening audience of almost 2,000 members of Toastmasters, he told them that every day that he would get up, or standing in front of the mirror shaving, he would repeat these words over and over again. He'd look into the mirror and he'd say, "You are a unique and precious being, created by God for very special purposes. I am ever doing the best that I can. This day belongs to me and no one can take it away. And God has sent me on this journey, and He will care for me until its end." Isn't that a tremendous affirmation? It's not the way that we really should be talking to ourselves, isn't it? You know, I guess I had all this brought back to me very vividly, you know, this whole concept of talking to yourself more positively as opposed to negatively. I guess I had it brought back to me very vividly back when I served as district governor. Oh, it seems like just the other day I was a district governor. But I've had to be real honest with you, it's probably been around 30 years.
Almost 30 years. Oh, it's over 30 years.
Yeah. But even though it was so many years ago that I served as your district governor, I can still remember, after I was elected to serve, I soon found out that one of the most important jobs, one of the most important responsibilities of any district governor is to travel around their district and to promote and develop and motivate Toastmasters to grow and to build and to expand. Isn't that right, Brenda? Yeah. We are charged with the responsibility of traveling around the district, getting our Toastmasters in our district to grow and to build and to expand. And I can remember so well, when I served as your governor, I could oftentimes be heard traveling around the district saying, if you want to become a better leader, if you want to become a better manager, if you want to become a better speaker, you know, all you got to do is just join Toastmasters. All you got to do, just join Toastmasters. Well, I don't say that anymore, Brenda. Let me tell you what I say now. I now say, and don't jump on me, let me explain. I now say that just joining Toastmasters will not make you a better leader, a better manager, a better speaker. And the reason why I say that now is, when I served as your governor, I gave a speech, I think it was up in 1,000 folks. And during the course of delivering that speech, I was speaking to a group of Toastmasters and non-Toastmasters alike. I was doing what I would typically do. I was extolling the virtues of Toastmasters. I was telling that listening audience that they could become all that they want in the area of communication and leadership development. In these two areas, they could become all they want just by joining Toastmasters. So all you gotta do is just join Toastmasters. And after I had delivered that speech, I had this Toastmaster come up to me, the tallest Toastmaster I'd ever seen. I don't know how tall he was, 6'8", 6'9", he might have been 7 foot tall. I just knew if he were to grow another inch, he'd fork. This was a tall Toastmaster. And he came lumbering over to me with his uhs and his ahs and totally devoid of any eye contact and terrible grammar. He walked up to me and he said, "Is you the district governor?" I said, "You bet I am." He said, "You don't look like a district governor." I said, "Well, I've been sick." 7 foot tall, what would you have said to him, Irvin? What's a governor supposed to look like anyway? I said, "I've been sick." He said, "Well, I want to let you know, I listened to your speech and I kind of enjoyed it, but I don't believe a word of it." Now, there's an evaluation of your speech that would open up your sinuses, I guarantee you. I said, "That's very interesting, tell me more." He said, "Well, I've been a member of Toastmasters now for over 6 years and it hasn't helped me." And believe me, he didn't have to tell me that. I said, "You tell me that you've been a member of this great organization for over 6 years. Would you mind if I ask you just a few questions?" He said, "Not at all." I said, "As a member of our great organization for over 6 years, have you attained your DTM? You're a distinguished Toastmaster, the highest level of achievement in Toastmasters. Have you attained your DTM?" He said, "Well, no." He says, "As a matter of fact, though, I can remember back in the early years, back when I first joined Toastmasters, I remember attending a district conference. There were a lot of distinguished Toastmasters there. You know, Joe, they can always tell them they got a special little badge on." He said, "I remember looking around the room at all of those distinguished Toastmasters, and I just said to myself, I'm never going to be able to reach that top level of distinction, the DTM. I just told myself I can't achieve it. Can't you see it's the way that we talk to ourselves that will direct the outcome of our lives? And you and I have a chance, starting right here today, November the 22nd, 2014. We have a chance to enhance our chance of this life if we'll just change the way that we talk to ourselves." I said to that Toastmaster, I said, "Now what is your name?" He said, "My name is Bill." I said, "Bill, how often does your club meet?" He said, "My club meets every Thursday morning." I said, "That's very interesting. How often do you attend your club meeting?" He said, "Oh, I can't attend every Thursday." I said, "Bill, tell me, how often do you attend your club meeting?" He said, "On the average, I guess I attend maybe once a month." I said, "Well, if you're only attending once a month, how often are you the featured speaker, the prepared speaker on the program?" He said, "Oh, I can't give a speech every time I go." I said, "Bill, tell me, how often do you give a speech in your club?" He said, and this is a true story, I'm telling you the gospel truth, this is exactly the way the dialogue went. Bill said, "I guess I give a speech in my club maybe once or twice a year." I said, "Well, if you're only speaking once or twice a year, have you completed any of your manuals?" He said, "My what?" I said, "Yeah, your manuals. You remember when you first joined Toastmasters, you gave your icebreaker?" He said, "Oh, yes. I remember giving an icebreaker, and that was the most disastrous experience I've ever had. After I gave that icebreaker, me and my beads of sweat and my knocking knees, I staggered around the room, and I slumped down in my chair, and I looked around the table at all the other members of that club, and I just said to myself, I'm never going to be as good a speaker as the rest of the members of this club. I just gave up using that manual. I don't even know where it is." Let me say this to all of you. Isn't that too bad? Isn't it too bad that that Toastmaster hasn't learned what I hope all of us have already learned? And that is, life is competition, isn't it? But here in Toastmasters, aren't we really competing with ourselves? Don't we compete with ourselves each week to be a little bit better this week than we were last week? And to be a little bit better next week than we were this week? Isn't that what competition is all about here in Toastmasters? And it's too bad that Toastmaster had not realized it. That was my last question for long, tall Bill. So let's review. What was I talking to that day up in Thousand Oaks when I gave that speech? Or for our grammarian in the room, let me rephrase that, Michael. To whom was I speaking to?
Toastmasters and non-Toastmasters.
I was speaking to a group of Toastmasters. I was speaking to a long, tall Toastmaster, been in the organization for over 6 years. We got a guest down there. She's late.
No.
I was talking to a Toastmaster in the organization for over 6 years. A Toastmaster doesn't attend his meetings very often. A Toastmaster who hasn't given very many speeches. A Toastmaster who hadn't completed any manual. A Toastmaster who talked to himself very negatively. And he had the nerve to come to the district governor and say, Toastmasters hasn't helped me. He kind of reminded him, he kind of reminded me of the man who didn't kiss his wife for 10 years. And then he shot the man who did. No, you can't come back. You can't come back 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, or a lifetime later and say Toastmasters hasn't helped me, or my life hasn't fallen into place somehow, unless you've done the things that you were supposed to. And what prevented that Toastmaster from doing the things that he was supposed to? Wasn't it the way that he was talking to himself? Can't you see what? It's what we program into this little computer that can make all the difference in the world. And I'm sure that most of you know that the human mind is the fastest working, coolest running, most compact and efficient computer mechanism ever produced in large quantities by unskilled labor. And it's what we program into this computer that make all the difference in the world. Finish this sentence for me, will you? Garbage in,
Garbage out.
Sorry, you're wrong. Truth is, garbage in, garbage stays. Garbage in, garbage stays. You know, I believe I can bring my message around the mountain. I believe I can drive home my point in rhyme if I can remember the words to this point. It goes like this. You can be a Toastmaster winner. Be you a veteran or a beginner. Well, that is, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can, you can. Well, you can raise a C up to an A. You can make the great athletic play. Or you can get in the school play if you think you can. And be you Gemini or Taurus, you can play center court with Steffi or Boris if you think you can. Or it's not the talent or your gift at birth. It's not your bank book that will determine your worth. It's not in the color or the texture of your skin. It's the way that you talk to yourself that will help you win. Yes, you can profit through inflation. You can redirect a market or a nation if you think you can. Oh, and it doesn't matter if you've lost before. It's never over until the final gun. Is there one? So, ladies and gentlemen, elite Toastmasters, hold on to your dream and believe it. Go out and work, and you can achieve it. Well, that is, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can, you can. Now, wait just a minute. Wait just a minute. You and I may agree with Whitney Houston when she says that life just falls into place somehow. But whether it falls into place or whether you direct the outcome, I hope I've been able to make the point here today that can depend a lot on whether you decide to change and enhance your chance in life. Mr. Toastmaster.